Hey guys, Casey Stutzman here, and let's talk about false mobility. How you like that? So we're going to talk about false mobility. We're going to look at the shoulders here. It's something I like to call false mobility because a lot of times we'll tell people to get their arms up over their head, and it looks like they are, but they're really, really, really not. And talk about how we can cue that and what that looks like. So no secret, if you've trained even one person, you're probably have run into immobile shoulders. It happens to a lot of people just because of that hunch posture that we get. So let's look at good mobility first. So I'm just going to take those arms through a nice full range of motion all the way up tall. Oh my gosh, look at the mobility on that guy. That's me. Anyway, so what we can see here is that the body is staying very stable. So we have this nice stable trunk, and it maintains that good postural line throughout the entire range of motion. So the spine is remaining stable, and all that mobility that we're seeing is happening solely in the shoulder joint. And that's exactly where we want it to be. We want movement through the shoulder, but we want to keep stability in the spine. Well, a lot of people have trouble being mobile in the shoulders, so they hide a little bit. And how do they hide? Well, so we're going to watch on this one. Now, again, we're looking for that stable spine. So let's look for that position, and can we keep on that line? Now, as I start to go through that range of motion, you're going to see I hit a certain point, and then all of a sudden, whoa, now we're getting wonky, and we're starting to lose that line. You can see everything starting to bend back. Now I get to the top, and instead of that nice straight line that we had before, we have this very curved line all the way up and down. So what happened is at about this point here, so if we're looking at the spine, everything's staying nice and long, but once I get to here, you'll see the shoulders actually stop moving. So if I look at the angle that's in the shoulders, it remains consistent. As the shoulders stop moving, what you'll see is the spine, a little soon, so it's about right there. The spine starts to take over. So right there, the shoulders have pretty much stopped moving, but now you can see already the head's starting to come back a little bit, and it's starting to jet towards the back because I'm not moving in the shoulders anymore, and all I'm doing is bending back, and I'm opening up that rib cage. So I'm creating a lot of compressive load right here in the lumbar, even though I'm not getting any more range of motion out of my shoulders. What's a big way you can tell? Well, look at the top here. Look at where the arms are in relationship to the head. You can see the arms are sitting in front of the head as the head continues to move back where it's behind the feet, whereas before we had a very different picture at the top, where at the top, now you can see my head's forward there a little bit, which is not ideal, but the head should be long in line with the spine. So again, there's a little bit of a carry there that we'd want to clean up. The hands are nice and long, and there's that long line throughout the entire body, whereas in the other version, we started to have where the arms haven't cleared the head or the ears. So ideally, it should just be a nice long line. So maybe I should have stopped a little bit, but again, that head's going forward a little bit, but once we get to about there, head's starting to carry forward, but for the most part, I should have a nice long line, and then there should be a line between ears, shoulders, and hips. So be careful when we get people into overhead positions that we're not causing that movement in the spine. So what's a good way to cue this or clean this up is we're going to talk about closing the ribs or bracing through the trunk. So we're getting too much compression in the lumbar, and we're not getting enough attention or not enough tension in the anterior part of the trunk. So they're losing that contraction of the abdominals, and they're compressing too much on the erector spinae and the muscles through the posterior chain. So here you can see that we kind of have this opening of the rib cage, right? The rib cage is going up and the pelvis is coming down, and then we're exposing all that area in the middle. So a good way to cue this, to clean this up, is to close the rib cage, which is different than a crunch. A crunch is going to take us, for the most part, into flexion. We don't want flexion. We just want to close it down so we're in neutral. Another good way to talk about that is to brace. That bracing through the trunk like you're about to get punched in the gut. So be very, very careful of false mobility through the shoulders. You're going to see it happen a lot. It's okay for people not to go through that full range of motion, but making sure that they keep stability in the spine as they start to increase their range of motion in the shoulders. And this way we can start to teach them how to be proximally stable and distally mobile.